As you have heard from the political leader today, the Labour Party wants us to believe that they have a plan. I need to make it very clear today that Dr. Anthony realizes that he is no longer a leader, but he has become a follower. A follower in many different instances, because now we have seen the real leader in this country in the person of Mr. Alan Shastney. And I say that with no fear of criticism. We went to Babono for a public meeting. Dr. Anthony responded by calling an emergency meeting on the market steps in Castries. There were no plans previously for a meeting in reaction to what the UWP did in Babono. We decided that we were going to respond to the budget of the Prime Minister in the Boulevard on Thursday night. Dr. Anthony did not present a budget thinking that he could silence the UWP from responding. Then, with the success of the meeting in the Boulevard, there were two reactions to that meeting in the Boulevard. Immediately, we heard of a meeting for Choiseul that same Thursday night that we had not heard about prior to us announcing a meeting in the Boulevard. In reaction again to the meeting in the Boulevard and the presentation of the 5 to stay alive, we are now hearing about a 15-point plan by the Prime Minister. Now, I will highlight this from two aspects. Mr. Philip J. Pierre responded to the 5 to stay alive early on Friday morning on a talk show. And he highlighted that there are three areas that a country can raise revenue: loans, grants, and taxes. I would really think that a man who has been in politics for more than 20 years would understand that the best way to raise revenue is to grow an economy. But either he does not know, or because Labour Party has not been able to grow this economy over the last 4 years in office, he deliberately forgot to mention growing the economy. And I want to put that in simple terms so that our people can understand. Yes, you can tax, but if you grow an economy and your tax is 5% of the economy, if your economy is $100 and your tax is $5, it means that is 5%, you're making $5. If you grow this economy to $200 and your tax is still 5%, 5% of 200 is $10. And that is where the Labour Party is failing the people of St. Lucia. So rather than grow the economy, they don't worry about growing the economy. All they're concerned about, every time they see there's a shortfall of $1, they impose a new tax. And we have seen the new taxes. The cut in subsidies is a form of taxation. The cut in subsidy on rice, flour, and sugar is a form of taxation. The cut in the school transport and the feeding program is a form of taxation. The increase of the fees at Sir Arthur is a form of taxation, because that is taking money from the people of St. Lucia. Then we have not spoken about the 66% increase on water, the increased license fees, the excess revenue that they have collected from the price of fuel when they lied to the people of St. Lucia and said that the 3 months was better than the 3 weeks Then a month ago, they sent out a press release to say that, it's because of the free weeks that you gain. So this government has been a government exploiting the people of this country. But further, what they are trying to say is now they have a 15-point plan. I have in my hand there the manifesto of the Labour Party. And on page 8, it speaks about a 5-point plan that the Labour Party has. A 5-point plan. Now it has become a 15-point plan. Which one is it, Dr. Anthony? Is it because you are reacting to what the leader of the United Workers' Party said, that all of a sudden you want to introduce a 15-point plan? A 15-point plan to say what? Dr. Anthony continues to forget that he is the prime minister of this country and not the leader of the opposition. Because I can understand the leader of the opposition saying that he has a 15-point or a 5-point plan to bring relief to the people of St. Lucia. But Dr. Anthony does not need a point plan to bring relief. He should have brought relief to the people of St. Lucia during the 5 years of governance. That is why he was elected. He gave them a blueprint for growth. And all we have seen is a decline in the economy. So here he offers us a 5-point plan that will enhance the economy. And I want to read it to you. An SLP government will target 5 areas for growth in our job creation program. What we have seen? A decline in jobs. We have seen unemployment move from the range of 20-21% to 25%. And we have seen the youth unemployment increase to almost 50%. But the most alarming figures in relation to this would be the number of people who used to work for $6,000 and $8,000 and $10,000 a month who have now been reduced to salaries of $4,000 and $5,000 a month because there's some restructuring in the establishment that they work, and some of them have been given packages and have to renegotiate new contracts. So you find that the income of people in this country have been reduced considerably. But before Dr. Anthony presents a 15-point plan to the people of this country, one of the biggest rackets that this government is involved in is in this document, Nationwide, where a housing project, and I find it strange that the media is not calling upon the government to account. There is at least $42 million unaccounted for on a $37 million project. 42 low-cost houses that should cost $5 million was presented at a cost of $37 million. And I challenge the media to go up to Moshi, see the houses, get access to the houses, and you will find out the face basins are falling apart, the doors are falling apart. And when the contractor who built these houses for $37 million was called upon, he said that the government accepted the project as was, so it's no longer his responsibility. Because if I hand you your keys and you accept your keys, then the project is yours. So who is to pay for this? And then you want to question where the VAT money is going and why it has not benefited the people of St. Lucia. In this audit report that was done under Dr. Anthony's previous government administration, has over $100 million in cost overruns unaccounted for. No one has given us an explanation where these monies have gone to. Further to this, would be the audit reports. Audit report of 2013, 2014. And there are other audit reports of 2014, 2015, all highlighting persons who have been employed without any provisions being made for them in the budget, who are being paid exorbitant salaries in foreign offices at the expense of the people of St. Lucia. But Dr. Anthony feels that he owes no St. Lucian an explanation because he continues to treat this country as his father's estate. And the people of this country are mere servants on the estate that he is free to do what he wants with them when he wants. What he cannot deal with now is the fact that in the United Workers' Party are people who would stand up to him and stand up to his mismanagement of the economy of this country. So he's afraid to come to Parliament and present a budget. And when I spoke in the Parliament, and the only thing he gave me was the throne speech by the Governor General, and I made reference to it. He said, since when people debating the throne speech? Well, I want to ask him, since when people passing figures without a program? For 3 years in government, he presented a budget. He passed it, then he came with the policies and we debated it after. Why on this occasion we are hearing nothing about the policy programs of this government? What is Dr. Anthony afraid of? So he knows that the Labour Party does not have a following, so he uses all kinds of tricks to attract people to come to his meeting for him to say he has a big crowd. But what he has to do is call elections and he'll find out how much of a crowd he would have voting for him on election day. So I know for a fact that the plans of the UWP will work. We have a leader who is capable. And I want to tell them further, for those who question his ability to lead, check the returns on investment. Mr. Alan Chasney, as Minister of Tourism, spent an extra $125 million in the tourism sector, on or thereabout. The budget of tourism used to be $25 million. When he came in, the budget was increased to $50 million. He did not get the $50 million throughout the 5 years. But let's be realistic about what we are seeing. We have all kinds of accusations about his spending. Nobody speaks about the returns on investment. The returns on investment in the tourism sector brought in excess of $3 extra billion into this economy over the 5 years. So any leader who can spend $125 million and bring in returns of over $3 billion into this economy is the leader I want to lead this country, because he knows how to grow an economy. But the Labour Party will not speak about that. So when Mr. Chasney says the United Workers' Party will remove VAT, reduce it in the first instance, remove it eventually, and find more creative ways of gaining revenue to replace the revenue that is generated from VAT. I know the Labour Party cannot understand that. I know they will try and put a spin on it because they've never run a business before. How many of them run a business? How many of them have been successful in their lives? And if Dr. Anthony wants to talk about success, his inheritance from his father and what his father owned would have been a lot more than what Michael Chasney had in his time and what he was able to make out of himself and what Alan Chasney has been able to do. They want to make us believe that being successful in this country is a crime. I want every St. Lucian to be successful. The United Workers' Party want every St. Lucian to have $1 in their pockets. When they go to the bar, if they want to buy a drink, they can buy a drink. I would love to see every constituent in Castries Southeast being able to offer me a drink than fleecing me for a drink. That is what a UWP government aims to do, to put the money in the pockets of the people of St. Lucia. And we have done it in the past. We did it in the worst of times. We managed a successful economy. And if you go through the blueprint for growth, you will see that none of the plans have worked. On the first page, there are about 23 things outlined. And they partially implemented 2.5 of the 23 things outlined there. And now you want to come with another 15? I want the Labour Party to campaign on the track record of achievement, not on what they're promising. Because the UWP can campaign. The UWP can campaign on its track record of achievement in the previous 5 years we spent in government. And our previous 5 years is good enough to re-elect us into government this time around. You just in government and you telling people all what you could not do, but give you another chance to do what you could not do. 15 years as Prime Minister. Now you come in with a 15-year plan, a 15-point plan. So one for each of the 15 years you have missed out. Well, let me tell you, if you are to get another 5 years, then you need to come with a 20-point plan, not a 15. Now, for those who called Newspin and said that we had, Alan came with a 5-point plan, so the other 95 is missing. I want to ask them, if Dr. Anthony comes with a 15-point plan, where is the other 85? Now you want to be a follower? Follow the UWP. Announce in your budget the removal of VAT. Announce a reduction in the license fees. Announce an increase in the allocation of school transport subsidy and school feeding program. If you can announce that in your 15-point plan, we can begin to talk. If you cannot do this, then keep quiet and give the people who can lead this country the opportunity to lead. Thank you.